something about, because Luke is in fact the founder of the Ali Arus campaign and has done, and with Rowena, and has done a tremendous job, and I think it would be very valuable to hear about the nature of the campaign, because that's where we can all be involved. I mean, you know, we can come to lectures and we can watch films, but really it mustn't end there. It shouldn't end there. We have a responsibility to Tala Assam, we have a responsibility to Ali Arus, and I think Luke is an absolutely wonderful example of taking that outside the realms of being a viewer.
Well, I would just like to join myself to what Farida said, and thank you all. Emotional about it, but I think it's very important what we're doing here, because a lot has been written, but creating a popular campaign is something else. So for me that is the essential thing, because of course I think even in the opinion of a lot of people, solitary confinement is wrong, etc. But the question is, what are we doing, and what can we do against it? So I think this initiative for me, it's really something very important, that two campaigns come together thanks to initiative of International State Crime Initiative, Penny, thanks to Francis, thanks to Liz of the London Friends campaign, and then my dear friend Hamza Hassan, who I had the luck to meet recently and clicked very well. So I think I don't have to repeat all the elements who are joining, you know, in both cases, although they are completely different countries, different cases, but there are different elements that, and for me, what we are doing, dear friends, and I would like to thank you also for your presence, is that we are making a campaign against what I call a new fascism that is invading us, and that is coming from the United States, and I'm sorry to offend you, but coming through the UK to the European continent. And so this is what is happening. And now our problem and our question is, let's create a global, for me, a European popular movement that crosses all borders, frontiers of countries, but also frontiers of convictions and opinions, to make this force to resist on what is happening today in this world, and that is illustrated by what Tala has been through, and it was Ali has been through. So, just to be short, you know that Belgium is a very little country. You know it maybe from Bruges and Antwerp and maybe Brussels, because it's the capital of Europe. But it's a very, very small country. So, let's say that this very small country is a bit on the crossroads in Europe between what they call the Anglo-Saxon model and the French kind. So it's just crossroads. So that makes it interesting. And it's interesting as well because all the European institutions are there, and also NATO is there. So which makes it very interesting for all secret services, for all police and everything. I can assure you, it's. I don't say it's as bad as in London, but it is a situation that is very followed up. Now there is a little, what I call a little community from Moroccan origin, Muslim, that has been the target of the anti-terror campaign launched since 2001 by Bush. That is what is happening. That this community has been targeted since 10 years. And you know, Belgium before the war in Iraq was what Rumsfeld called member of the old Europe. You had the UK, was the modern Europe, and then you had the French, the Germans and the Belgians, who were the old Europe, who didn't want to walk into the war just like that. Now, there was a turning point in this being old Europe when Belgium joined fully the American war on terror, by sending his troops to Afghanistan, not to Iraq, but to Afghanistan, and by participating in every American campaign since then. So let's say that it started late, 2002, 2003, but Belgium, you can say, surrendered totally and changed completely of position in the war on terror. That is a basic point. A second point is that Belgium was criticized by a lot of countries of being the weak, I call it the shackle in the chain, in the struggle against terror on the inside, on the interior front. Because they said you are guilty of sending people or parting to countries like Afghanistan or Pakistan, etc., and with false papers, etc. So Belgium was seen as not doing enough in the war on terror on the interior front. And so I should say that you had Belgium joining the war on terror with the Americans, and for the struggle on the interior front, it was joining with Morocco, you know, because the vast majority of the most important immigrant group in Belgium is the Moroccan population, or the people from Moroccan origin. So, and there is the link with Morocco, you know. So, and that is where Ali comes in. That you had a joint venture between Belgium and Morocco in, what I should call the war on terror on the interior front. You know that Belgium organized a lot of court cases against so-called terrorists who were living in Belgium and who were accused by Morocco of being undermining the state in Morocco. That's one. And they didn't hesitate to use evidence obtained under torture to use it in Belgian courts. They were convicted by that by the European Court recently. So that's one thing. The court cases against a number of what they call terrorists who were accused by Morocco of undermining the regime. That's one thing. And another point is that inside Morocco, the war on terror launched by the Americans was the welcome occasion to crush every opposition that existed in Morocco. And since the 2003 bombing in Casablanca, I can tell you the number. It's an official number reported by Amnesty International, saying that thousands of people were arrested, hundreds of them were tortured, and it is this campaign since 2003 that is still going on. And every 6 months there is another so-called, well, I say, terror case where the secret services are proving their necessity and so on. And it is in that process that Ali has been caught as well with hundreds of other people. So this is a bit the cadre we are working in, and so I should say the old problem is how to create a campaign against what is clearly an infraction and say the Convention of Geneva, the Convention against torture. They all put it aside in name of this war on terror. And well, about campaigning, and then I'll cut it, and then you interrupt me. We went 20 times to Morocco. Farida, a whole group, we mobilized every time to assist to the court and go to the court. I think we need to do it, even if it's in America or wherever. We have to mobilize money, mobilize people, personalities with a name that can make it in the media to go and assist the court case. It's absolutely important, I think, to do that. We were very happy when people from London, like Francis, Penny, Liz and others, came and joined us in Morocco, because I can tell you it made some effect in the media and in the court. It's surely something that has to be done. So that's one thing we did. I think for us the key of all the campaign is the family. Is Farida, is Sarah, is his wife, it's the key of the campaign. And every campaigner puts him around the family. They are the key and the heart of the campaign. And I think it's very important because through the family you fight the dehumanization, yeah? They try to use against us, making us numbers, terrorists, whatever. Through the image of Farida, her brother gets his humanity. Through what Hamza and his father says, they recreate the humanity of the one they locked up, and they don't want to let us speak. So I think it's extremely important, and that all the specialists, the lawyers, and every campaigner puts himself in service of the family and around the family to support them. I think this is, for us, essential. Another thing that for us was important was that we try to mobilize largely, not locking ourselves up only into the Muslim community, although we worked there very intensively, but we were open to the outside world, let's say, and trying to get support from everyone that could be touched by what happened. I think it's very important, because when they can lock you up, well, they can crush you as well, and they can destroy you. So we have tried to have this openness on all levels, and I'll stop.
That's great. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm getting on, but I'm happy for us to continue until at least 8:45. I've got three from the three people who are going to speak from the audience at the moment. Francis, a chap back here, and I think Amanda, yes, who is a lawyer who works on the deprivation of citizenship, which actually ties in very well with the recent comments. So Francis.